Yeah. Yeah, you could just comment on how we're working together, how we should, you know, respond a little bit to Elizabeth's comments, how it ties to our experiences in the U.S., how we can work together moving forward.
I think that panels and spaces like this are important because it gives women like Jahan and I an opportunity to really voice the concerns and the issues that are happening right here on the ground in our communities in the U.S. I think, like Jackie mentioned earlier, what happens, and it's happened to me on a number of occasions, is that I get swallowed up in the belly of the beast, and the issues that my communities and communities like mine face on a very daily basis are often trivialized inside of international context. But being able to sit here and have the discussion with Elizabeth and know that my issues are her issues, and we have the opportunity to really work to build solidarity, that's what I think is important. Because I do believe that it's going to be the women of the world that, combat this issue. It will be us. It has to be us. And I think that the only way that it can is if we all begin to work together, and that's going to be women of color from all over the world, from the U.S. and all over the world. And also, white women allies who are also interested in doing this work and really looking at it from a race and class analysis to make sure that we are tackling the issue and not working to create solutions that will also further impact the communities that we're working for.
Yeah, a lot of the things that you said triggered like a, oh yeah, to me in my head. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm an optimist too, but I think that for me, yes, I'm losing faith in, our world leaders to come up with some sort of great, international agreement that's going to solve this issue for us. I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen. I think what happened in Copenhagen was really disappointing, that we saw, the U.S. and China and just a few governments go off and create, behind closed doors, the Copenhagen Accord, this other little policy just by themselves, and then come back and say, oh, okay, this is better than what we've been talking about for the past 15 COPs, and we should do this, and pushing that agenda now this year to try and get this other document that, totally lets developing countries off the hook, that reduces our targets for emissions reductions globally, and, they're really pushing for that to be the policy that we use. And in Cancun, the next COP16 in December, they're really pushing that that's going to be the foundational document for the negotiations, which is bad, which is very bad. I think something that I've been thinking about is I really feel that the U.S. is getting scared that we're not going to be the #1 superpower in the world anymore, because we see a lot of different regions of the world coming up in power. And we have to be wary of that, like you said, military budget, keeps going up. And, they say that, someone had put it like, there's nothing, a tiger is most dangerous when it's caged in a corner, and I kind of feel like the U.S. is getting into that kind of defense mode, because we know that, we're not going to be able to run the world, forever, and it's changing. That balance of power is changing. And it's dangerous. It's something that we need to be aware of. At the same time, it's a good thing. I think that we also need to understand that if we really want to make deep changes in our society, it's going to be rough and tough for everybody, including me, including the rich people and our politicians, but also including all of us, poor people, impoverished people, indigenous people. It's going to be really rough for everybody. And I think we just kind of need to accept that. Accept that if we really want our society to change, then it's going to be really rough for all of us. And so then what do we do to protect ourselves and protect our communities? That's the #1 question. Let's start talking about how can, you know, NIA in DC or in Detroit start learning how to harvest rainwater? You know, let's talk about how can we provide for clean water for ourselves and clean food and be able to take care of ourselves on a local level. I mean, I really think that that's where a lot of our attention should be being paid. You know, the stronger that we are at the local grassroots level, the better off that we're going to be. You know, and we can't necessarily rely on our international leaders to do these things for us. I think that time has passed. And I think in the United States we're getting much better at being able to connect the issues of, for instance, environment and climate change to the issues of domestic workers in the United States and issues of immigration and issues of war and militarization. I think it's becoming a lot clearer to us, and that's also a good thing. You know, it's allowing us, we've started to talk about, I'm part of this organization called Grassroots Global Justice, which is, that's kind of our goal, is to try and connect these different social justice movements and segments in the United States together so that we can kind of all have one voice. And something that we've been talking about is, can we try and push some sort of campaign to change, to move military spending to other parts of, to move military spending to create these kind of communities that we want. And that's something that we can all work together on in the United States. But I'm kind of at the point of just, you know, rambling right now, but I guess what's really important to me is that on the local level we really strengthen the resiliency of our communities to be able to do things for ourselves. And I think in the United States and in the cities, like how you said, that's going to be a real challenge. And maybe not necessarily in the communities where I'm from, you know, people still live like that, but for the most part, in most of the United States, it's going to be a challenge. And but I think it's really important and something that we should start working towards. So that's good. Thanks.
Great. So now we're going to have 20 minutes of discussion and question and answers, and then we'll have a 10-minute wrap-up by Nia. So I'm going to have to operate the video camera for the question and answer. So Jahan, if you could facilitate the Q&A part, is that okay? All right.
Okay, does anybody have anything they want to add to the discussion or a question? Okay, and can you just please stand up and talk really loudly?
Well, my question is about, I just heard about migration and climate change. And all this week, I've been hearing that migration is becoming the big problem as a result of climate change and the problems. You talked about the ice melts, the Maldives, where the island, the people are going to have to leave because the islands are going into water. Another problem that came up, it said because of the migration of people into the United States, the domestic workers, that the abuse of human rights is really becoming a problem here.
Does anybody want to respond to that in the panel? Or maybe we can take a few questions first? Okay. I had the, all right, hold on. I had, you were the second one to raise your hand? In the green? In the green, and then in the pink. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the presenters. I want to make a proposal based on the presentations that I had. The issue of climate change as it's affecting our different people in different parts of the world. Let me
or if you can come up here and you can use this.
Could you also identify yourselves as you speak?
My name is Kujemani from the Gambia, Associate Country Director for the Gambia. You can get it now? Okay, my name is Kujemani from the Gambia, Associate Country Director for the Gambia. I work with women at grassroots levels with different groups, so this is a very interesting topic for me, as it is also an agricultural issue, and I'm agricultural by profession. I just want to suggest that we look at this from a very operational point of view, where we are looking at doing research in different countries to exchange ideas on how climate change is affecting us in different countries, and to be able to probably exchange knowledge in terms of both traditional ways of coping with the climate change, but also how do we network, how do we change conduct trainings and exchange ideas from this workshop, from this meeting, so that it does not become a rhetoric, but it's actually something we can do. Well, how do we even mobilize resources to be able to help set up pilot projects where we can learn on how to mitigate climate change for our different countries? Thank you.